64, tax key number BBV 2022-999-002. The proposed amendment would change approximately 42 acres to a medium density residential commercial land use plan designation.
Comments received. Disruptive conduct.
I'm going to call this public hearing to order and start off with a roll call of the Planning Commission. Commissioner Peterson,
With the applicable law.
Commissioner Renner,
Written
Attorney
comments
Schroeder,
will be accepted and provided to the governmental body.
myself,
Submission of written comments
Chairman
prior to
Lysick
12 p.m. on
here.
Thursday, January 29,
Engineer Hine.
2026 will guarantee
Commissioner
distribution to the
Zabriskie,
governmental body members,
Commissioner Kennedy,
members, and
Commissioner Sonneberg.
inclusion in the meeting record.
He had to go on a call. I believe
Additional
he'll be back.
questions regarding
And
public comment
Commissioner
procedures will be
Majeski.
directed to the village clerk.
Absent.
Roll call for village board. Josh? Here. Brian?
All right, the
Corey.
first public hearing.
And
The
myself,
purpose of the
Tracy.
public hearing will be to receive public input on the following matter. Request by Claire Ross.
Okay, as stated, any emails that were received will be submitted as part of the public record and available for public viewing
land use
after
map.
tonight's meeting.
The subject property is located at.
I'm gonna turn this kind of over to the planner and the village clerk to
Tax key number BBV.
have people come up and speak
999
in an orderly fashion.
The proposed amendment will change approximately 42 acres.
Oh.
To a medium density residential commercial land use plan designation. Comments received. Disruptive conduct. I'm gonna call this public hearing to order and start out with the roll call of the planning commission. Commissioner Peterson will be asked to move on the runner. Attorney Schroeder will be seconded by Planner Greenberg. Myself, Chairman Lysick here, Thursday, January 29, Hine, 26, will guarantee distribution to the governmental body members, Kennedy.
Can't hear us.
Commissioner Sonneberg.
Want to hear us?
This disorderly people already. Holy shit.
Absent.
Roll call for village board. Josh? Here. Brian?
All right,
Corey.
first public hearing. The
Myself,
purpose of
Tracy.
the public hearing will be to receive public input on the following matter. Request by Claire Ross.
Okay, as stated, any emails that were received will be submitted as part of the public record and available for public viewing
Land use
after
map.
tonight's meeting.
The subject property is located at.
I'm gonna turn this kind of over to the planner and the village clerk to
Tax key number BB.
have people come up and speak.
Disorderly people who love that tonight.
Comments received.
Please quiet. The same video is available on the village's Facebook page. If you want to do that.
Can't hear us. Want to hear us?
This disorderly people already. Holy shit.
No dark sky limit when you're
Comments
My name's Justin Hurd. I live west 234, south 6450, Big Bend Drive. I'd like to point out the fact that the 42 acres that are being considered for rezoning are actually currently zoned R2 low-density residential, not medium-density residential, as it is stated on the Class 1 notice that was put out. Characteristics of R2 low density are lower density than R1 or R3 to promote suburban character. R2 zoning is often found in areas transitioning from urban to rural settings. Anyone who is familiar with the area surrounding the subject property can attest that this whole area is very rural. I live directly across the street from the proposed development, and I'm asking each and every one of you to put yourselves in my shoes. Would you want to live next to or across from a mega sports complex if you live in a rural area? I have a young family and my children are in bed before 8 p.m. We enjoy sleeping with the windows open at night and enjoying the fresh Wisconsin rural air. We also enjoy having bonfires and listening to nature and the fire crackling. If the proposed mega sports complex goes in and butts all the way up to Big Bend Drive, there will be no more quiet summer evenings. According to the Village Big Bend zoning code on page 138 under 16.52 special exceptions, letter B, it states that for basis of approval, the proposed development shall not be inconsistent with or contradictory to the purpose, spirit, or intent of the village ordinance, shall not be contrary to public safety or welfare, shall not be a nuisance by reason of noise or other similar factors, shall not for any reason be cause substantial adverse effect on the property values and general desirability of the neighborhood, and shall not be incompatible with the surrounding land use as stated on the plan. The proposed mega sports complex violates each and every one of the shall nots that I just read. I am pleased asking you all to take into consideration the residences that surround this property on all three sides and be respectful of the current zoning ordinance. The back 42 acres of this property were zoned residential for a very good reason, and that is to create a buffer zone between the rural residential area and B4 zoning on Highway 164. The proposed development does not align with the existing zoning regulations for the area. If the proposed mega sports complex goes in and butts all the way up to Big Bend Drive, there will be no more quiet summer evenings. According to the Village Big Bend zoning code on page 138 under 16.52 special exceptions, letter B,
My name is
states
Sherry
that
Bucket. Can you
for
come back
basis
there?
shall not
My name is Sherry Bucket.
purpose, spirit, or
I
intent
live
of
at
the village ordinance.
W235 South 7670 Vernon Hills Drive.
Shall not be a
I am
nuisance by
concerned
reason of
about
noise
this
or
next.
other similar factors.
Although you made very
Shall
good
not
points,
for
the
any
other
reason
points that I
be
think that we need to
substantial
consider
adverse
are
effect
actually the
on the property
environmental
values
effects
and
that we
general
have of this
desirability of the
facility
neighborhood,
that
and
you're
shall not be
proposing.
incompatible
We're
with
talking
the
about
surrounding
water
land use.
tables.
Proposed mega
We have
sports
no water
complex
and
violates
sewer
each
like
and every one of the
Waukesha
shall nots
or
that I just
Milwaukee,
read.
much better
I'm pleased asking you
venues
all to take into
for
consideration
this
the residents that
facility.
surround this property on all three sides
If you've
and
looked at the
respect the current
Infinity
zoning
complex
ordinance.
on
In back 42
just
acres
down
of
the
this
road,
property were zoned
you've got all the
residential
lights,
for a
you
very
see
good
them right off of
reason, and that is to
42.
create a
If you
buffer
know.
zone between the rural
All of us
residential
are going to be
area and
effective
zoning on
by
Highway
the
164.
visibility of
The
this.
proposed development does
Even
not align
McDonald's
with the
off
existing
of
zoning regulations
164,
for the area.
you can see the lights surrounding. We moved from Milwaukee for the reason that we wanted ruralness, the qualityness, actually amazing people around us, and we wanted our
Proposed mega
space.
sports complex
We
goes
don't
in
want to
and
be
butts
on
all the way
top
up
of
to Big
each
Bend
other.
Drive.
We want to enjoy our wonderful night.
According to the Village Big Bend
And
zoning code on page
we do not
138
want
under
this conflict.
16.52
It's a great opportunity for them to go maybe check out Northwestern Mutual old facility. They could go in Milwaukee. Northwest would be good. That'd be a great facility. I'd like to thank you for the time, but I think you have to really think about all of the environmental effects here. I mean, not only on us, but also our little critters that all live in that land as well. Water table. Thank you. We have looked at the Infinity complex on just down the road. You've got all the lights.
My name is Derek Waker. I live at 7229 and 8730 Mulberry Street. So I hope everyone's been questioning that and put that to rest now. I'm here to support the rezoning for the sports complex. There's been a lot of loud opposition, and much of it has been built on misinformation about the land, the developer, the proposal, even the members of this board. So let's clear a few things up. First, Big Bend didn't steal this land. Again, it was annexed almost 2 decades ago by the requested landowners after Vernon failed to act. Vernon had their opportunity, they didn't take it. Continuing to frame this as stolen land is dishonest and helps absolutely no one. Second, this project is not the Rock. It is not a concert venue. It is not intended to host large-scale parties. The developer stated this plainly at the November 20th meeting. Attempts to tie this project to the Rock and its developers relied entirely on speculation and outright falsehood, often amplified by slander reporting more interested in the village drama than the facts. Third, the claimed ability of November meeting actually shows that the members said we don't want to write a check for $12 million because we don't want to do that to the village. So I'm not really exactly sure why everybody's saying that we're going to front them $15 million. What we're really seeing here is a pattern. A small group continues to block the growth while simultaneously complaining about taxes. When a project comes along that could stabilize or even reduce the tax burden, it's opposed because people have lived here a long time or moved here expecting nothing to change. And those aren't planning arguments. This property sits on a major corridor connecting a freeway to one of the largest metro areas in the state. The idea that this will remain farmland forever is unrealistic. The choice is not growth or no development. The choice is intentional development versus whatever comes next. So it's clear we have the leverage right now to do what we want and to make a choice here without being shoehorned into something. Lastly, landowners online understand that the opposition does not mean fear of growth. Under normal circumstances, that's true, but in this case, the opposition has repeatedly shown that their fear of growth, choosing to Google search and make lies up instead of, just following the truth. So I urge you guys to make a decision based on facts and not noise.
Vernon Village, Vernon.
Can't hear you.
I'm not really exactly sure why everybody's saying that we're going to fund them $15 million.
Parkland Trail.
What we're really seeing here is a pattern.
I'm going to point out to you, it was annexed, so they didn't have control once it was annexed. So I'm going to talk about traffic congestion and safety on Highway 164 local roads. Woodside Sports Complex in Boston, Wisconsin, currently is the largest multi-sport complex in the Midwest. This complex is 90,000 square feet and has 500 parking stalls. The proposed complex here at Big Bend is almost double the size of the complex in Boston and will have 1,561 parking stalls, 3 times the amount. Boston has 250 to 375,000 people annually to their complex. Double that, we have 500,000 people annually here. The problem with this amount of people is naturally increasing accidents, blocking emergency vehicles, endangering children, and delaying those commuting on 164. Based on those facts, we would have approximately an additional 1,300 vehicle trips per event, overwhelming the 2-lane rural roads, Big Bend Road, Skyline, Guthrie, National, and 164 South. These roads themselves are narrow, risky, block turns, and are used for school buses and other equipment. The more usage, the more the roads deteriorate. Currently, attempts to turn onto 164 from Sherry, Artesians, Guthrie, and Villa are a problem. Highway 164 is a vital corridor heading to Waukesha. Few alternate routes available and for a widening of roads costing millions. I have read the direct proposal. There is no plan to address traffic problems and lack of safety this complex will cause. I'm asking this board to consider, and I brought it up before, you are trying to, I understand you're trying to go from residential to commercial, but you know what? You don't necessarily have to.
Time.
Their complex. Double that, we have 500,000 annually here. The problem with residential people are naturally increasing accidents, blocking vehicles, based on those facts, we would have approximately an additional 1,300 vehicle trips per event, overwhelming
So this is just for the zoning.
Can't hear you.
I was just asking if this was for just the zoning or if it was actually for the
No,
community.
this-
It's for all of them,
This-
for all the.
It's for both sides of it?
Well, you can.
At the maintaining of life safety and EMC, guys, it's gonna take more time. Yeah, that's what you're saying.
Jason Egan.
Hello, my name is Jason Egan, and in September of last year, give me a second.
Sorry.
So in September of last year, I purchased Lot 2 on Big Bend Drive. It's on the southeast corner of this sports complex, okay? So the reason that we purchased this land is to build a house. I have a wife and 5 children, young children. We're looking forward to living in a peaceful environment outside the city with a lot of nature. And I found out about this sports complex just a few weeks ago. Had I known, I would not have purchased this property with the intent to build and raise my family there. So I'm concerned about our quality of life. My wife and I do struggle with sleep, and so we were hoping that the environment would help with our sleep, but with this sports complex, probably not. We're also concerned about just our children being raised when there's in an environment where there's so much traffic, so many more people coming. We were not expecting this. Now, just a couple things that might be worth consideration. You had mentioned about the rock and comparing the rock. In 2024, there's 236 complaints, 120 of them directly related to noise. And so now we're anticipating much more activity like that. We're also anticipating, if you have more people, you have more conflicts, you have more altercations, you have more police, and so this is not what we were looking to sign up for. 200 plus days a year, as I understand it, there's going to be significant activity at this sports complex. That's most of the year that we are going to be dealing with all of this activity and, of course, the light pollution, noise pollution. My request would be you reject or at least table this decision so that these considerations can be thoroughly worked through. All right, that's all I have. Thanks so much.
Jim, I cannot see the last name. It's got a spike.
Spicker.
Apologies for that.
No problem. Good evening. My name is Jim Spica. I live at W246S6370 Clearview Lane, just off of Town Line Road. I would like to particularly speak about fire and police responses and how those resources will be affected. Responses to the BREC could be the single largest user of police and fire resources by call volume as it grows to its desired size. To use a comparative, the current visitation to the Rock in Franklin is 125,000 plus people a year per their website. Our project, the BREC, is going to be significantly larger than that. In 2024, the Franklin Police Department saw over 300 calls alone. I'm wondering how the Village of Big Bend if they are ready to hire more full-time police officers, support staffs, cars, equipment, and possibly a new police station to expand into, and who's going to pay for the infrastructure that this will cost. The fire department sees equal long-term challenges as calls increase with the size of the BREC and the more equipment and staffing that will be needed to cover that. Another factor is that Big Bend EMS is a BLS provider. They will need to change their status to ALS provider, which will require paramedics and the equipment to do that job. This also brings into question the need for a new fire station to house the increase in full-time staff and the apparatus that may not fit in the current station. With these probable increases and needs, who pays for the millions of dollars to provide these services? The developers of the resources, the developers of the land. Lastly, any discussions to take place with the Vernon Fire Department on the BREC and the responses of co-responding with that department. I suggest tabling the entire project until proper studies can be completed by an outside third party that can see the benefits and repercussions both the area will face. Yeah. Thank you.
Might not hear you.
They're not hearing you.
Right there. Oh, sorry.
6370 Clearview Lane in Vernon, Wisconsin. I'm here tonight to discuss the environmental impacts to wetlands and marsh areas that this sports complex will have. Large athletic complexes generate substantial volumes of stormwater carrying oil, rubber particles, heavy metals, fertilizers, and litter from parking lots and artificial turf. Studies near similar facilities have documented increased pollutant loads and nearby wetlands and streams. When built near marshes or river-fed lowlands, inadequate buffers and treatment systems can degrade water quality, stress amphibian and bird populations, and reduce the ecological and are compromised. Remediation is often and river corridors that they have stewarded for decades. Based on the size of tonight's crowd, I think we've all got many questions and concerns about this project.
Yes.
We respectfully ask you pump the brakes, slow down, and secure answers and commitments on every last question we have before you approve anything. Thank you.
Bob Kalinsky, W232S5920 Charles Drive, Village of Waukesha. I speak as a neighbor worried about water, stormwater, flooding, and drainage overload, where it goes and who pays when it doesn't. Large sport complexes replace fields, woods, and synthetic turf fields. A simple eye test of the proposal shows that the vast majority of what was a natural sponge will now be covered by hard surfaces. It's all green on this illustration, and it ain't natural grass. Artificial turf does not absorb water. That water's got to go somewhere. See, rural ditches and culverts were never designed for the new runoff patterns and volumes. Townland already floods with moderate rainfall from the watershed to the north. What happens with the proposed surface and elevation changes? Mitigation systems often require multi-million-dollar retrofits when initial designs prove inadequate. Who bears? Being a good neighbor has been a priority from the beginning. So what measures, contingency, and mitigation plans have already been put in place and documented to guarantee that I am also worried about our well water. Do you have data on how the use deplete the shared aquifer in the area? What measures have been taken to ensure the integrity of neighbors' existing wells, water pressures, and the landmark Big Bend artesian well? Heavy downpours in August 2025 flooded the project area. We have photos enlarged from the floods last year in the Skyline and Big Bend roads. Our weather patterns continue to increase in volatility and severity. What analysis has been done to ensure your solution mitigates the additional stormwater contributions in these likely events? Why is this being fast-tracked for a decision when there are so many critical issues with irreversible consequences that have not been proactively vetted?
Yes.
Why has this not been tabled?
Mary Pekarsky? Jason Deering?
Hi, good evening. My name is Jason Deering and I live at W237S6735 Fernwood Drive. Light, sound, traffic, water runoff will be all directly affecting my family and property. This property's design is false advertisement. The proposed plan appears flat. This property has rolling hills with an elevation change no less than 80 feet. With 150 acres of land, per 1 inch rainfall, there will be in excess of approximately 3 to 4 million gallons of water shedding off this property without proper ground saturation and water retention. This property will need detention ponds or lakes, just like any other development seen across Wisconsin to prevent flooding. With regard to light pollution, it can be seen from miles away. It will be compared to Alpine Valley Ski Resort or the Franklin Rock Sports Complex. With or without any of the fancy technological LED terminology presented, there will still be light pollution. Upon full proposed completion, if this is completed, this property will be a cash cow for itself as it's a private business. This property is not in a tax incremental district or a TID, which is a financial tool used by municipalities to grow tax and facilitate redevelopment. With the TID, village can collect any increased property value tax and apply it towards costs associated with this. Of the $15 million in tax dollars being offered to this project by way of future water and sewer development that this sports complex desires. Why can't Big Bend capitalize on this cash flow as well? If Breck Sports Complex is for the community and area residents, as it says it is, why not allow a TID? If Breck is for the community, why hasn't it reached out personally to any other residents before this day? Lastly, is this the village of Big Bend or is it the village of Breck? Thank you for your time.
My name is Deanne Studinger. I live at S67W23715 Fernwood Court. As a local taxpayer, I'm requesting full disclosure of all infrastructure costs related to the proposed Breck Athletic Complex. This disclosure should include itemized breakdowns for roads, sewers, utilities, and intersections before any plan approval is granted. Under Wisconsin Statute Section 66.1105, the board is required to present detailed tax increment district budgets, bond projections, and clear explanations of how diverted tax growth affects taxpayers during public hearings and review board meetings. I'm asking for comprehensive financial details and potential overrun projections rather than vague sketches. Taxpayers, schools, and county representatives have the right to evaluate whether this development's costs outweigh its benefits. To protect the community, I also urge the board to require a guaranteed maximum price clause from the developers to cover any excess costs. I would like to ask why this approval is not being tabled, similar to the action taken on Chapter 9 and 12 municipal codes during the January 21st Personal and Finance Committee meeting. During the November 20th Planning Committee meeting, James Sonberg said the following to the individuals pitching the Breck Athletic Complex, and I quote, "This is something big. I am just going to be point blank. Don't rush it. I realize you guys want to get everything in, but if we are going to do something like this, we need to make sure that we have our I's dotted and our T's crossed," end quote. So my question to all of you is, can you look yourselves in the mirror and say you've done everything you can to ensure this project is not pushed through too quickly and are prepared to live with the price that the residents of Big Bend and the surrounding communities will pay if this project bombs? Thank you.
I'm Julie Hergus. I live at South 66 West 24700 Skyline Avenue. I want to start by saying that I'm not opposed to recreation or development. My concern is whether a multi-sport complex of this scale is appropriate for this location and this community. A regional sport complex is not a neighborhood use. It's a destination facility. That means tournament level traffic and safety are major concerns. Traffic studies often look at averages, but residents live with peak conditions. Weekends, tournaments, overlapping events, and seasonal surges on roads that weren't designed for sustained event-level traffic. That affects safety, emergency access, and daily quality. Roughly 1,500 residents. That is a significant level of financial exposure of costs for infrastructure needs that might exceed the proposals and projections. Finally, this project requires approval through a planned unit development because it does not comply with the existing zoning. Instead of adjusting the project to fit the location, the zoning is being changed to fit the project, which sets a concerning precedent. My request is simple. Please slow this process down, take a hard look at whether this project truly fits here, and prioritize the long-term health and character of this community over speed or pressure to approve it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Good evening. I'm James Kubash. I live at South 66 West 24700 Skyline Avenue. I'm in favor of development. It's inevitable. It's what happens. I get it. The headlong rush. The headlong rush. Not as much. I'm concerned about traffic. It's about 400, 500 cars per hour at rush hour. If we get a proportionate traffic to what they're getting at the Rock now, we could have rush hour all day, every weekend. Private roads are choked. We can't fit. I'd be concerned that the DOT does a full study of traffic, how it impacts I-43. We know they're changing that intersection and it'll accommodate traffic, but it's still backed up to most of Waukesha every evening. I wonder why you don't need to rush into this, and why is there the feeling that it should be? I agree with this fellow here, or there was some fellow here said earlier about doing intentional development. Well, what I'm seeing is not that. And I hear there's archaeological considerations. Historically, a poor farm asylum with a cemetery is a horror story plot, not a plan.
Ted and Dawn Patel.
24240 Town Line Road, Waukesha. With all this road, because you're talking about making development from I-43 to where the complex is. And if you haven't considered that, then we shouldn't even be talking about this, because that's going to affect the entire future of that area. Now, when you start putting stuff up, what are you going to do? You're going to buffer everything. You're going to have to bring in apartments. Because they're not going to get single-family development next to any of this stuff. I think one guy made that point earlier. Now, when you got nation where you need money, the way this meeting was run tonight, not having a microphone, knowing this stuff's going to go on, kind of makes that point. You better think about future development, what you're opening up here. Now, if you can check, because I don't know, a higher percentage, probably something like 80-20 compared to homeowner. Now you're talking about bringing all this other services out. We're going to have more firemen, more police. Well, they're all going to be over in that neck of the woods doing all the work over there, and probably your other guys will be over there too doing stuff. There's a lot of stuff you need to have considered. You should have all this laid out. What is the development plans down the road? If this thing doesn't work, you got to have sewer. You're going to say, oh, well, we got to do something with it. We'll put in apartments. We can get revenue from that.
Ryan Risto.
I'm Ryan Risto. I live at West 237 South 6830 Fernwood Drive. I grew up in this community, right across the street from. Whoa, sorry.
You got it.
You're good. Right across from St. Joe's Catholic Church. When me and my neighbors would go out and play football, the cops would come and block the road, play ball with us. You know, that's the community I grew up in.
Yeah, that's right.
I understand things have changed. And we lost our grocery store. I really don't understand how that happened. We're all moving. Now we got Haji Habib running a liquor store using American flags for drop cloths, and you people like them. I don't know who would ever go in that store That's not the community I grew up in. I get it. You want your money. Take it. But you cannot do this to this community.
That's right.
This community. That's all I can say. I'm sorry.
It fits in the community that it is. I don't see how there's enough infrastructure to support it. And it's not just affecting Big Bend. You know, this even goes to the county level. 164, I don't believe can support this. I live on 164 and I see rush hour traffic. It could be back to the 9-year M679, which is state road 164. You start adding in things for allowing the public to speak and listen to this. I'm just one of the obvious few people that are opposed to this, as it was said before. There's been a lot of good points brought up tonight. What's going to far more than there? Solid Lake that I researched. I moved out to this community 13 years ago from a city atmosphere. And I moved out here because of the country. Yes, I live on 164. Did I expect it to not be? I'm not against development, you know, improving kids' now sports. I travel all over, and honestly, these facilities are amazing.
You people are, and most of the time I sleep alone.
They oppose tax on drawing the property value is a clear and foreseeable lack of adequate water certificates as an infrastructure resulting risk for general concern is explained by development of land on emergency services.
Good evening, Erica Connor, S63W22685 Town Line Road. Like the majority of people in this room, I am opposed to this development right in my backyard. But I want to add, and they are rejecting this kind of sports, and the amount of demand is going to greatly decrease in the next 20 years. So what will we do with this big, beautiful facility when the demand is no longer there? Will it sit empty? Will it go to disrepair? What will it become? So that's number one. Number two, just like you as public servants, I want to thank you for this opportunity. I took the opportunity and had the privilege of sitting for 9 years on the Mukwonago Area School District School Board. In 2022, we did a population study that looked at all of the district, our 9 municipalities that had residentially zoned land that had not yet been developed. This was part of a long-term facility strategy to help support our schools. I believe a huge priority and a duty of every community is to support the public schools in which they have their families attend. This helps our value of our homes because people move in for good schools. Anytime we rezone residential land to something commercial, we are removing the opportunity for new residents to move in, to bring families, and to then fund our public schools for the future. So if you were to rezone the 42 acres of residential land, you are in essence, and maybe inadvertently, telling your school district you do not support their future, because you are taking away the opportunity for future families, which we know 75% of first-time new homes in this area are people coming from out of district into district. So we'd be bringing new residents in. We need to support our schools.
Bauer, and I'm a mom. You'll be able to hear me. My name's Diana Bauer, South 62, West 22980, Town Line Road. And I'm going to turn this way a little bit. I don't have notes, little notes. I'm going to talk from the heart. Where's it, Diana? It's the thing, it's a name thing. Yep. You know, we saw them porking the land mid-December, and we thought maybe there's some, and maybe you all have this, McMansions coming. Much like Erica was saying, we thought maybe there's going to be new houses coming, new neighbors coming. But we didn't think this neighbor was coming. And when we saw what was coming, we got sick. I mean, much less the gentleman that was feeling very emotional, sick, absolutely sick. Well, Merry flipping Christmas. Caught myself.
You know, that used to be a cemetery, pauper cemetery. Did you bury up all the bodies? I want to make sure. Did they bury up all the bodies? They did.
No one knows.
Yeah, no one knows. But, you know, I hope it's not, yeah. And if you live like the gentleman that just bought the land with his 5 children, would you like to live there? I know somebody else had mentioned it too. Would you like to, thank you. Would you like to live there? I bet you none of you surround that area. I don't think so. I don't know so. I don't think so. I'm just speaking from the heart. You made me really sad, much like the other lady that's, retirement. We call this our toe tag home. You know, we're going to live there forever until they take us out feet first. Yeah. And so it was supposed to be our toe tag home, and now it's half the value. It's half the value. Maybe not your home. What would you do with your parents' home when it's now half the value? Half the value. Well, you know what? Maybe we should sell it, and we'll put apartments there. There we go, and my time's up. I got 2 seconds. Bye. He's my other half, you poor people.
My wife said it all. I'll pass, thank you.
Michelle Risto, W237S6830, Fernwood Drive, Waukesha, Wisconsin, 53189. This development should not take place, and I want to make it clear to all of you just how terrible it is. Lack of infrastructure for Big Bend and proper projected tax increases per each Big Bend resident, not properly informing Big Bend residents of this monstrosity, lack of a police, fire, and EMS department, and relying on other jurisdictions to help. You definitely will need to establish an around-the-clock, fully staffed, full-time police, fire, and EMS. Mesa, Arizona is the 36th largest city in the U.S., and on January 18th, 37 Mesa police officers, along with 30 officers from 2 other jurisdictions and 3 deputies from the county sheriff's office had responded to a 100-person fight that broke out during a game at the local sports complex. Wow. Will Big Bend reestablish their PD? Since the board years ago secretly attempted to try and dissolve their PD without informing their residents. The roads surrounding the land are in disrepair and flood often and have to be fixed. Noise and light pollution, vandalism, violence, theft, increased traffic and vehicular accidents, death. Concrete astroturf with poor drainage. Home values surrounding the athletic compound will instantly decrease by 20%, and that includes my home. Cars parking in our subdivisions. Safety for our homes and family and children. Unnecessary proposed gas station, strip mall, and hotel. Will Big Bend staff a full-time EMS/fire department? I know I already said that, but a multi-story hotel would also require a ladder truck. Oh, guess you'll get your ladder truck now. Hope the village of Big Bend taxpayers are ready to fork out a lot more money. Before each of you goes to bed tonight, I want you to think about how you would feel if this monstrosity was projected to be built in your backyard. I bet all of the money in the world you would not want it. Do not build this. Why are you trying to ram this project through so quickly without thoroughly informing the community? I definitely see a pattern here. Quit pulling the rug out from under residents and be upfront with costs and repercussions of this proposed fantasy. The AstroTurf is not greener on the other side, especially when the developer is done and rides off into the sunset. Minnesota.
Jen Fritz, W229S8755 Mulberry Street in Big Bend. As a resident for 41 years, 23 of those as a homeowner, I value the fact that Big Bend is relatively peaceful and quiet, has low crime, taxes, traffic, and limited commercial and industrial businesses. When we've needed emergency help, response time has been minutes. Our safety services are both efficient and sufficient. I would guess that the long-time, well-established residents of the village value these things as well, which is why they stay, and that those that are newer landed here, perhaps for the similar reasons. At your November meeting, the developer said that by bringing in out-of-state and even out-of-country sports teams, this would really put Big Bend on the map. To that I say, who cares? Maybe we don't want to be on the map. That's what many of us appreciate about our village. And when a private landowner no longer keeps their private activity within the confines of their property, when what they're doing spills over to the neighbors and community at large, not only physically by way of light and noise pollution and traffic, but then they are requiring a $15 million community upgrade to do so, it's absolutely open for public opinion and discussion. This project is way beyond our capacity, and what is the village or residents' recourse if agreements aren't honored after approval or if the project outgrows its scope or budget? Who foots the bill for attorney fees to fight wealthy developers? Big Bend residents will be negatively affected. There's no way that our taxes won't increase. Water and sewer is a massive project, and additionally, I don't want treated water coming into my home. There's zero guarantee that residents will not be forced to connect to that system in short order on our own dime and then pay for that for perpetuity. What happens to all the homes along 164 in town if it needs to be widened to accommodate this community growth? Will they be required to give up a portion of their property under eminent domain? How will our fire department handle the 70-foot high buildings at the complex? Are we now looking at footing the bill for new equipment that was previously unnecessary, but now we have to service this private land owner? I stand opposed.
Tom Fritz, W229S8755 Mulberry Street, Big Bend. There's many opinions on both sides of this issue. I'd like to express one of my concerns regarding the sewer and water that would be required for this project. As a 20-plus year resident, I and many others enjoy the privacy and security of our private well and septic. It's disingenuous to claim residents will not be required to connect to the sewer and water at some point. Perhaps not immediately, but it will be necessary as neighbors and financially sustain ongoing operation. Those facilities can only continue to run if there are sufficient users. That's a burden that many have connected if you're paying for the service and no desire, no single development, especially given the current annual operational costs. There's a lot of speculation regarding the costly patches line, but most residents that have knowledge of this just learned of it in the past. I have a good friend and a neighbor, and many more have known now in the last 10 years I wasn't able to connect to it because more drinking water and especially this private well and Western septic, just like we were.
No, we live at the same address.
Phil and Darlene Mulberg, South 62, West 22958, Town Line Road, in the village of Waukesha. The village of Waukesha is on the north side of this development.
We'd be half a mile away from everything everyone is against. The noise pollution, the water table, all of that. But I just found out today on the news that there's going to be a hotel. I went, oh, with a hotel, there'll be a bar, and you know, sports and alcohol go hand in hand. And he was hit by someone that had a DWI and could have lost his life. And I think, wow, there'll be more drinking, more drunk driving, all that. And with the hotel, I mean, years ago, a neighbor reminded me that my home wasn't zoned for a rooming house. And now you want to put a hotel? And she was a guest. She was
Anyway,
a
our
guest.
road is very noisy. It's dangerous to walk or bike ride on now. It never used to be, but since the subdivision came in, it's been getting very bad. She prays whenever I go to the mailbox, I don't get
Right.
hit. Just
Don't
to
get hit
our
and
mail.
don't get bit by the
And-
wandering dogs.
I I think you would have to completely block off road to Town Line because it goes to National Avenue and everybody on Milwaukee is gonna come down National, up Guthrie, and down our road is a main thoroughway.
Or they'll
When
open
they,
up
if
that
they find
Town
out
Line.
that road.
Right.
And it is just horrible as it is. And if you guys proceed on changing the zoning requirements, I will accuse you of switch and bait. As this man stated, it's zoned just for certain residential, so anyway, switch and bait.
Good evening. I'm Jeff Millies, W238S9560, Kunzendorf Court. I'm also Village of Vernon's president. Speaking on behalf of the board, all of us are not in favor of this development. I agree with a lot of what's being said here tonight, but I'd also like you to consider, are you guys setting a precedent for future development? You have a lot of vacant land along the 164 corridor. This project does not quite fit your zoning rules and regulations, so you're doing a PUD. So what's gonna happen when the next developer comes in and says, hey, I wanna do this, it's out of the ordinary, you let that go through, why wouldn't you let my project go through? So maybe open yourself up for future problems if you allow this development to take place. Excuse me. Also, I heard this project is gonna bring a value of excess of 100 million. Well, if you had sewer and water, businesses will come, you'll get the same development, will probably be worth more than that. And instead of having soccer fields and back there, you could have multifamily housing, like townhouses and stuff. I mean, soccer fields are not a high tax dollar item compared to housing. So I think you can make more money on some future projects once the sewer and water is in. Because really, I'm not sure who's benefiting from this project. I mean, Big Bend and Vernon, we're not really benefiting from anything. You have a few businesses there. Even though you're gonna say, well, this is $100 million in, we're gonna be property tax, the cost of putting all the infrastructure in, and by the time you're able to start collecting money, it is just gonna be a huge burden on your Big Bend residents. I'm not sure if they realize how much your taxes are gonna go up. So lastly, I'd just like you to consider possible outcomes of approving this and take your time in doing so. Thank you.
Get Karen.
Come on, Karen.
Go, Karen.
I'm gonna be nice. I want to thank the village board and the plan commission for allowing everybody to speak for at least 2 minutes. I have more questions than comments. Of course, I'm very, very concerned about the development. And contrary, whatever Big Bend does as far as development, we'd like to see you flourish in your development because good development for your community reflects us also. Ben, do you have a comprehensive report? You don't have to answer me, but is there a comprehensive report? Because typically before a public hearing, you get to hear, what the planner has to say and what's been done.
There are reports available.
Okay, because Vernon would like to see those.
Sure.
And then, could we also get the report? I know there was a DOT Teams meeting. You probably didn't get any response from the DOT yet, is that correct?
Those minutes are available, we've requested them.
Okay, so that I could get from you, Ben, or Katie? And Katie, you got all my comments from, and I just want to explain to the Plan Commission and Village Board, I tried to give Katie as many of the comments, so you could see the concern. I had you saw little Mr. Ryan Ristel, I had an 82-year-old woman at the village today crying her eyes out, asking the village board to do something. And my heart breaks when you see a little old lady crying with her total investment, her life savings. She wanted to pass her house down to the kids and the grandkids. And I just, like I said, if Vernon could be involved and help in any way, we would love to do that. I'm also really concerned about that pauper site because that should be protected just like an Indian burial ground. And my understanding, and I'd like to get more information from the state, if they move those pauper grave sites into a different area of that property, I'm sure you would like to know as much as I would like to know. And I did get about 16 phone calls from village, well, not all the council people, but they said to be very, very careful with the complaints you're going to get with noise, because that's what they deal with at the Rock. But if Warren, if you could include Vernon and Ben on that information, and then I'll get more questions to you. Okay? Thank you, guys.
Jay Petra? Hey, if you guys want to stop the meeting, I can go get my band equipment and set up a PA so we can be heard. Yeah, the trucks, the officers out here.
Hi, my name is Jay Pekka. I reside at W258-S705 Oakdale Road. My concern is the amount of traffic and the noise from like loudspeakers and the shining lights and the litter, people throwing stuff out of their car. And I just want to say that I am totally against sewer and water coming to the village of Vernon. This is just not the atmosphere for it. We came out here to build our houses and to enjoy, the quietness without all the hassles of the city. So I don't know how to say it. This is just not the atmosphere for this. It's too close to people's homes, and this is meant to be a, like rural and small hobby farm atmosphere. And my concern is kids' safety. Take like me. I live at west end of Oakdale Road, and my concern is traffic on Skyline, Big Bend Road and Town Line, and I know that there's kids that like to ride their bikes. So I'd like to say safety is the _1 priority of this. And I can honestly say this: if they want to put a hotel in there, I know that you're going to have sprinklers in there. And like I say, us Vernonites, we don't want to pay.
Put it somewhere.
That's all.
Move it. And then next will be Larry Work.
Which one? 6720 Salem Court.
Thank you.
I've been a resident here for 43 years. My home and my vacant lot are across the road from this proposed private youth sports development. I live on the southwest corner of the intersection of Big Bend Drive and Skyline Avenue. I knew someday that the old Voss farm would be developed. I put my trust in local officials that would zone this property to fit the existing rural housing plan. I'm against the private youth sports development because of stadium lights, excessive traffic, stormwater runoff, noise from music, parents, and players, and the added strain to our police and fire department. Another big concern is the drop in our house value. We contacted the Village of Vernon assessor, and he said, quote, "I believe this commercial development will have a negative impact on the nearby residential properties," close quote. If this private youth sports development moves forward, I will work alongside with my neighbors and the Village of Vernon officials to make sure there is no cooperation with the Village of Big Bend. Why are you pushing this so fast, and why are you not tabling this?
Larry Work. And next will be Bruce Well.
gonna face this way. I got kind of a weak voice, and you guys don't listen to me anyway, so I'm ready. My name is Larry Worth, and I live on Chateau Lane, and I've been in Big Bend for 50 plus years. This is probably not a real popular thing to say, but I haven't really decided if I'm for this or not. And I'll tell you why. Because I don't have any information. How can I make any kind of a decision? Nobody gives me any information. I didn't know about this a week ago or so. And so I need more information. What? And there's a lot of Larry, tell them. They don't listen to me. If you were really interested in what we wanted, they would have put out a referendum. This is a big decision. They would have asked them. Maybe they need to.
That's right.
You want to simply shut off your trucks?
You're out of the picture. But the they can't do it. You know, the Big Bend people are the people who put these guys in office.
Yeah.
They work for us.
Recall them.
And this is a decision, I know this affects Vernon, I know it affects Waukesha. The people who make the decision out of this are Big Bend people. This is going in our community. I don't know how many people out there actually live in Big Bend. This needs some kind of a referendum. It needs some kind of
Transparency.
Transparency about these guys. Before we make a decision, let's shut these guys down. This is not a fire sale. This is a high pressure tactic. This is a leech mob. Let's slow this down and let's get the facts and let the people in Big Bend.
Advertisement did not show any houses around their project. You not expect taxpayers. I'm opposed to any of this. I'm opposed to the rezoning. Somewhere down the road before, when you annex this, your future envision was residential and commercial. Why do you want to change that? Why do you want to do away with the residential?
That's right. They don't like people.
That's it.
Your city clerk, an open records grant. In addition to information and little bits and pieces. Oh, there's a meeting scheduled with the Wisconsin DOT. Oh, 9 o'clock we're clearing. That's it. No meeting, minutes, no nothing. No report. What did the Wisconsin DOT say? You obviously right meeting. So what happened? It should be decided by the people. I want to know. You should be putting this. My time is up. But I have one question.
All of you. And it is. Does it matter to all 12 of you what these people are telling you? Does it matter? Do you hear them? I want to know. Mister, I don't know any of you. Does it matter?
You're not answering questions tonight.
I don't care. I want them to think about it. Does this matter? The outrage. I live at South 69, West 23360, Millbrook Circle, about maybe 6 blocks from this place. Millbrook Circle is a circle. If you want to see something funny, people don't know that it's a circle.